Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
So, before we get underway, we're going to finish with a message from, again, the guides, the mothers. And it's all about the light code activations that's going on right now. Many people are feeling very different. Um, they're noticing changes. We've gotten from the guides that some people will be developing abilities now that would probably blow your mind as far as, psychic abilities, what we would call psychic abilities, which, are thought to be paranormal. They're only paranormal in a Kali Yuga, in a dark age. Otherwise, this is just part of being human. Things like clairvoyance, telepathy, precognition, and maybe even things like psychokinesis and things we can't even think of. But if you do want to think of them, look into the yogic cities, which are spelled Siddhis, and these are superpowers that can be developed through yoga. But again, they're not really superpowers per se, because when we get out of a Kali Yuga, it's our natural way of being.
Right. I mean, it's there for everyone to develop. We all have these abilities somewhere locked in our DNA, and that's exactly what the controllers have done. They've kind of blocked our DNA to keep us from going out and being the superhuman beings that we can be. So, really important to focus and know that your body is changing. We are changing, and all of this stuff going on around us is being done to try to prevent that.
Absolutely. And my phone is FIVEG capable, and I can't use it anymore because it gives me a headache as soon as I take it out of its Faraday case. The signal is just ramped up, and so I'm gonna ditch it. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm getting a headache because I had to put my phone on. And it's just instantaneous now. So be aware of that. The signal is going out. As the guides had said, these technologies are all about whittling away at your light body and stopping this growth. That's what they're about, ultimately. Please do check out evolutionaryenergyarts.com and learn more about us. If you need to make an appointment, you could reach us at evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com or EEARTS@protonmail.com. And again, thank you for your support over on Patreon, and do check out Medicinal Foods. There's a link at the top of every page as far as the videos go. And who let the apes out? Oh man, who let the dog out?
Oh my, I mean, look at that set of teeth.
Yeah, this is actually kind of semi-ominous in some ways. The vibes we got off of this are not good. And it immediately got me thinking about a movie that we're going to touch on. But this is real. Our brother Joe over in Pennsylvania said that some monkeys escaped by him. Yeah, a truck crashed carrying 100 monkeys in Pennsylvania. Initially four, had escaped, but they apprehended one, and there are 3 that remain at large. And this is near Danville in Pennsylvania, Interstate 80. Been through there many times. You can't make this stuff up. What are they doing with monkeys? Well, a lot of times there's experiments done on monkeys. Unfortunately, in this world, yes, they do a lot of experiments on monkeys. And you can see some people here saying, lab monkeys, you say, as we look at Planet of the Apes. Who set all these monkeys free as we look at a representation of the BORG? What's really going on here? When a truck crashes and lab monkeys escape on the highway 2 years into a plague upon the land, wow, this simulation is glitching. Yes, that's the movie. 12 Monkeys, a deadly virus released in 1996, wipes out almost all of humanity, forcing survivors to live underground. A group known as the Army of the 12 Monkeys is believed to have released the virus. And so, this is a movie that came out back in 1995, and Brad Pitt was in it, Bruce Willis, Madeline Stowe. You just can't make these things up. You really can't make these things up. And, then we had seen this back in June. Texas biomed scientist received $1 million grant, NIH, National Institute for Health, funding for the big E research. Where were these going? Again, where were they going? Were they already experimented on is the big question.
Yes, they're the beginning of an experiment, and the experiments are going to continue when they get them to where they're at. So there's things that have been done to them. This could make them contagious, like we're all worried about, and it could be that beginning of a movie. So that part's been done, and all we can do now is kind of wait and watch and see what comes of it. Hopefully nothing, because we've been very good at changing timelines. Very, very good at that. So we shall see. But yeah, it made me very nervous. I got all kinds of chills. Got a little achy. So that's never a good sign.
Yeah, and the guides came through immediately, with what's being released about Tonga. One of the first messages, the first message we really listened to today was a message from our friend David Devine over at Adapt 2030. As we communicate on a regular basis, especially when there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Remember how they said that this was 63,000 feet high? Yeah, no, that's not the case. And David knew they were, covering up the magnitude of this. You see this outline. This is what was the extent of the island, and this is all that's left. I mean, obviously, anybody on that is no longer, in the 3D realm. This explosion reached halfway to space, maybe a little bit better than halfway to outside of our atmosphere entirely. In fact, now they're saying it's 55 kilometers. 55 kilometers is 180,446 feet. They were saying 63,000 feet. That's 3 times the height. Can this cool off the planet? Yes. Yeah. They don't, again, they don't want to always give us everything. I mean, we know, those movies are pretty accurate when they say, like with Greenland, for instance, they don't want to tell the masses what's really going on per se and cause a mass panic. But this is going to have an effect, especially on the southern hemisphere. But since, everything is connected, food production right now is an issue, period. So obviously this is going to cause an issue. This is going to cause big time food issues, even more on top of everything else that we've already had.
Right. So we have so many things going on, and we're in the middle of evolving, and we're in the middle of something changing. And it just seems like things are really going to get kind of a lot worse before they get better. And we need to prepare for that.
Which, is what we've been basically trying to get everybody to do. Again, we want to keep putting out the positive vibes. We want to keep changing the timelines. But at the same time, we need to be prepared. And so, the guides were saying we'll notice in a few months' time. You'll notice a difference. And again, the shortages are increasing, and this is something that's getting to be pretty obvious. Look at the size of that hole. Yeah, a dump truck falling into a sinkhole in Birmingport, Alabama. This is big. It fell about 6 to 8 feet. Looks like a culvert underground dropped away. Some diesel leakage. There's always more and more as far as the leakages. And I just wanted to highlight and show you guys, we have 6.2, 6.0, and 6.4. And again, a lot of times the United States Downgrading Service does just that. They downgrade the actual, magnitude of these. And again, this is Alaska, Indonesia, and Japan. So these are all basically upstream from Tonga. But again, the energy can go, either way. So this is interesting to see these releases. Are we done? Or is there something else bigger coming? And then we see this, just reminding us, the overdue Cascadia mega earthquake with that tsunami potential, Pacific Northwest residents will only have 10 minutes to evacuate. And, that's not a lot of time. And again, if you are inland, then you'll probably be okay if you're up at a certain height. But this can create waves that are, like 100 feet tall. So this is what they tell us. And it's a wake-up call. And, honestly, again, what I've always felt is that I think we're going to probably see Cascadia and San Andreas in a handful of years. I think those two feel like they're close. And then they will, again, create the conditions for the New Madrid to go. And then, of course, we got X marks the spot with the two eclipses that, highlight the New Madrid, because that's right in the bullseye of those two eclipses where they intersect. And there's always the artificial flavoring involved.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they always have to add something in. And left to her own devices, Mother Earth would do it so well. And she would be so graceful with her changes. But she's not left to her own devices. There's things manipulating that we can't see. We can't even really imagine, And it's a time where we have to kind of lean on each other, find this understanding in our heart, find that peace in our heart, and radiate that outwards. And that actually helps more people around you if we're able to develop that.
So we were talking last night, and while I'm thinking about it, please do double check. Make sure you are subscribed to both channels. Hopefully we will be able to start posting on Evolutionary in about another 3 or 4 days as we're in timeout. We're in YT timeout over on Evolutionary, but make sure you are subscribed to both channels with the bell clicked. And, I'd say probably 360 days out of the 365 we'll have a video up on at least one channel. So, do check in, because they don't like the message that we give going out there. And so we see U.S. carrier heads to surprise NATO war games, as last night we were talking about, Russia, China, and Iran having their war games going on. So we see the USS Harry S. Truman joins Neptune Strike 22 war games in the Mediterranean Sea amid tensions with Russia. And it'll be under NATO control, the U.S. forces here. So, it's another apparent escalation. And then we have the U.S. government asking Russia to keep the written response, as we were talking about how Russia wanted a written response and the U.S. said no, and then the U.S. said yes, but now they're saying, okay, we'll give you a written response, but keep it secret. Don't publish any details. We don't want anybody knowing.
Right. No.
Shh.
Shh. Okay.
And families of U.S. Embassy personnel in Ukraine ordered to begin evacuating as soon as Monday. So that's not a good sign. Absolutely not a good sign. And meanwhile, the Russian Navy is planning artillery exercise off of Ireland's coast. Wow. County Cork, yes. Naval exercises 240 kilometers off the southwest coast of Cork in 2 weeks. That's, again, apparently an escalation. And we see a British medical journals demanding the immediate release of all info on the plague upon the land. As we know, some things weren't going to be released until long after most of us are no longer in the 3D realm. And this gives us a question there. The end of natural population growth. Have we hit it? Because, yes, there was no population growth in some countries like Russia and Finland, as you could see up here, Spain and Italy. We had talked about that. Japan is declining pretty rapidly, and in many countries are. But now, even in the blue, the light blue, it has begun. And if it wasn't for immigration, the U.S. population would be declining too. And you see Africa, the population is not declining as fast as others, and it won't be until 2100, they say now. Of course, monkeys might have a say in all that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Monkeys might have a say in the future when it comes to the population. Yeah. U.S. to close borders, yes, both north and south to people that have not had you know what, that's going to also cause more shortages, obviously. And you're going to have to submit a scan of your face to file your taxes. We kid you not. They're going to begin requiring us to scan our faces to file taxes. And they're going to be using a company, which we will look into, this company a little bit deeper, and it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's just, this is part of this world that we live in. And Thich Nhat Hanh, a beautiful soul, has left this realm at 95 years old, passed on peacefully, they say. And so he's written many wonderful books exploring, consciousness. He's a Buddhist monk. And I would highly encourage people to check out some of his works.
Oh, as I'm listening to the guides talk about this guy, this being, just by looking at his works and reading his books, even looking at his face, that transfers a certain amount of DNA, a certain amount of his energies to you, and it will help evolve you. I thought that was curious.
Yes, that's beautiful. And thank you for sharing. And now we're going to share the message from the mothers.
Within us are multiple light codes of compatibility and understanding for different dimensions. Many of these light codes have been blocked from sending and receiving information until recently. The sun has been releasing information that will awaken our light codes so that we might navigate ourselves on the 5th dimension. These light codes are very important for our ability to navigate our multi-dimensional reality that we find ourselves in. The purple light codes are of the highest quality. These purple light codes are being activated in all light workers. The sun is key in allowing these codes to continue to awaken so that you may find yourself more able to navigate these other dimensions and other realms, finding the ability to reach these higher dimensions while we are still here in the 3D will be important for our evolution. As the sun relays these codes to us, we will find ourselves acclimating our energies to the higher dimensions. These codes are also found in crystals, crystalline energies of blues, purples, pinks, violets are all found within the crystals that are upon your planet. Having these energies in various places around your planet is helping to activate the planet's individual codes so that it might rise up into the higher dimensions for its purposes of, one moment, for purposes of evolution and for purposes of creating a new world. These light codes interact between us, the sun, the earth, and the fifth dimension, connecting us all for a time when we will be able to ascend. These codes are found through various means, unlocking them primarily through the sun. Meditating on the earth and meditating with the crystals can also unlock these codes so that you might navigate the fifth dimension and other realms on your planet. Use these codes for your freedom. They create pathways in the heart chakra into the higher realms to bring you peace and serenity. For there are difficult times in everyone's life. The Mother Earth and Father Sun wish for you to have a way to find peace in your heart and enter these higher dimensions. Unlocking these codes will assist in that. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Would it be a good idea then to, whenever possible, ground ourselves with bare feet on earth and meditate with the sun hitting as much of our skin as possible, absorbing consciously and knowing that these codes are being activated?
Having the sunlight upon your face, entering the soul, will be enough when it comes to unlocking these codes. They will enter in through the pineal and the crown chakra. They then move their way through your body, further unlocking your abilities and strengthening your soul. Understandings and teachings will automatically come to your understanding in how to navigate these different realms.
And so that was the message from the mothers, from the guides. And these codes are being activated. Really, it's just a matter of getting out in the sun, allowing the sun to be on your face. And again, everything becomes more potent when we're aware of it. And you could do a technique that we call pore breathing, which we've done several videos about on the Qigong playlist, Qigong meditation playlist. And basically, as you're inhaling in your breath, know that you're taking the light force in, know that you're taking the codes in. And again, light is information, light is gnosis, knowing, and it's experiential. This is the difference. You know, we could study facts, figures, his story, you know, and science all day long, and then discover revisions that have happened, and everything that we've learned, or the bulk of it, is BS. When you know the way they're talking about, that's knowing with a G, as in gnosis, which again is direct experiential. No longer can you be deceived.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's where we're going to. And I don't know about you guys, but when she was talking about the colors, I kept getting all these chills through my body over and over again. That's something that you want to look for. Not everyone will have it, but it's really good indicator that your wiring is being upgraded, definitely.
Absolutely. This is the time of tremendous upgrades. So, as always, guys, may you be blessed with abundant love, light, peace, and happiness. And Cindy's going to give us a couple of dings on the way out to help your code activation.
God bless and namaste.
Namaste.